Okay, go.
Hi, we are the blue team from Washington University in St. Louis, and we are going to give you a presentation about the competition so far. I'm Charlie Grady. I'm a first-year MBA.
Hey, my name's Tyler Daniel. I'm also a first-year MBA.
I'm Ling Haobao. I'm in the Masters of Quantitative Finance program.
I'm Andy An. I'm also in the MSFQ program.
I'm Vanessa. I'm in MSFQ.
My name is Yang. I'm in the MSFQ program.
My name is Cicely. I'm in the MSFQ.
And that is the blue team. The blue team decided to take an event-driven strategy for this competition. What that means is that we would select a specific event and attempt to profit off of the outcome of that event. So we would balance our portfolio in a way that would profit when the expected outcome would match up with what we thought would happen. So this means we took short time horizons and that we had to maintain a market neutral portfolio in order to only profit from that event and not from general market movement. In order to select an event, the event has to be known in advance so that we can set up our portfolio in a way that can profit from the event occurring. The results of the event had to be definable. This is something like a presidential election where either Trump or Clinton could win. We would know the two outcomes in advance. And once we know the outcomes, we have to know how the market's going to react to those specific outcomes in order to trade against them. So now Tyler's going to, this event-driven strategy can lead to significant returns, but it can also lead to large losses. So it's not for a risk-averse investor. Now I'm going to pass off to Tyler, who's going to explain how we actually form the trades after we selected our events.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. As he said, we have 3 criteria for selecting the potential trades. But then when we do have the trades in mind, we also have to boil up to a strategy that's actually executable. So we would assign a confidence interval for how certain we are a certain event would happen. For the example, the presidential election, we had a 73% chance of Hillary Clinton winning, and we would delegate 73% of our resources toward trades that had that in mind. When we had the industry, then we also had to pick individual stocks. We would screen stocks and we would find the one that we viewed as most representative of that industry. And then we would either long or short based on our analysis of what the event would happen. Here's a sample event chain that we drew up for the election. Again, we had a 73% chance of Clinton winning, so we allocated 73% of our resources to trades that we believed would reflect her policies. So we had short financials in healthcare. Trump, though, we had a 27% chance, so we had a hedge in place for his winning. With his rhetoric about making America great and infrastructure, we invested heavily in industrials. Unfortunately, this trade did not quite go our way. As you know, Trump did win, so some of the trades didn't work out in our favor. Next, I'm going to pass it to Yang, who's going to talk about the monitoring strategy of our portfolio.
Now, I will briefly introduce our monitor and rebalance schedule of our team. So usually our team meets on a weekly basis to talk about the news and events that happen in this week, which may have a major impact on our portfolio. And then we will decide what to react to them. And each week, our team will assign one team member to monitor our portfolio on a daily basis and notice the whole team in case there have some major events or some emergency happen on the market. And in absence of any event, our portfolio will update it on a weekly, every week after the weekly routine meeting. And here is an Excel file we use to rebalance our portfolio. And after we comply with the market, the long-short balance, the cash balance, as well as the beta balance, and we will, based on our view of the short-term market movement, we will use the linear programming to optimize our position in the target stock we choose. And then we'll pass to Lin, which he will give you a brief introduction of the major events we gone through.
Thank you, Yang. And these are the events we choose to trade on because we believe these events are going to have a big impact on markets. And I'm going to talk about the first event, which is a presidential election. And we think Clinton has a higher probability to win. So we base our trades based on our predictions. We shorted regional banks, long bulge brackets, shorted pharmaceuticals, long industrials, and use gold miners and utilities as our defensive trades. And the result was Trump won the election. And our short regional banks hurt us, but it was offsetting by the bulge markets, so we didn't lose that much on that pair trade. And the pharmaceutical position hurt us a lot because the pharmaceutical company went up the next day dramatically. And the industrial stocks increased because we think both Trump and Hillary is going to benefit the industrial stocks because they both talk about the infrastructure spending. Gold long positions hurt us, which surprised us the most because the gold price went up and reversed completely the next day. So our overall result is negative 2.9%. And the next trade is the crude oil inverted US dollar divergence. We discovered there's because these two securities are extremely correlated historically, and we decided to use our energy stocks as our proxy for the crude oil price, and use material and utility stocks as our proxy for the inverted US dollar price. So we long utility materials and shorted the energy stock to capture that divergence and wait for the convergence to happen. And this trade is still on the way, so we don't have the results yet. And next, I'm going to hand it to Cicely to talk about the FOMC meeting.
Thank you, Vin. Our next event is OPEC meeting. Our team believes this meeting would either result in agreement to cut oil production or not. And if they cut oil production, it would benefit for the oil price. However, if they do not cut, it will hurt the oil producers. So based on this analysis, our team speculated that an agreement would not be achieved because the OPEC meetings, they haven't reached an agreement for 8 years. However, this year, they decided to cut the oil production and the oil price went up, so we lost in our portfolio. But we didn't adjust our portfolio immediately, and we decided to move on. So next, I will hand it to Vanessa.
Thank you, Cicely. Early on his campaign trail, President Donald Trump has promised to dismantle the Dodd-Frank Act. We believe an action like this will benefit the financial industry. So in a case like this, we must close our short financial positions in financials and instead open long positions. On the eve of February the 2nd, the president made an announcement saying that his executive order would come up very, very soon. So on the very next day, we made our orders, and the executive order actually came up literally 5 minutes later. By the end of that day, our portfolio was up by 0.6%. Now I will hand over to Andy to give us a conclusion.
Thank you, Melissa. So I will give a brief conclusion about our current portfolio. We are down around 1.48% overall, and we rank 37 to 45, 54. Aside is our currently long and short positions, and we currently long public utility, the largest one, and short the energy part, largest one. So since the competition, there is still 1 month before the competition is over, so we will still focus on the 3 events, and we expect we could have a better result on that. So in conclusion, although the portfolio trading strategy is not that great, but we believe that we do learn a lot during the whole process, and we all three very grateful for the CQA competition to give us such a great learning opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.